What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast.
What's going on? Episode number 69. How's it
69.
going, everybody? Yeah, what a momentous episode number we've
Yeah.
gone to.
Yeah, very special episode here. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always.
Happy April, everybody. We're
Yeah.
on April 5th.
Yeah, April 5th. Happy Easter, all that good stuff. Hope everybody got to spend time with family and all that good stuff. Especially now that all the COVID shots and stuff are rolling out. People can kind of start to slowly get back to their lives. I've actually got my appointment scheduled for Thursday to get mine. Good old J&J shot.
Yeah, mine's this Saturday. So I got 6 more days. Hope I don't get COVID before then. I heard that if you get it, you can't get the shot. Or like if you have it while you're trying to get a shot, obviously you can't get it.
Right. Yeah, that would suck. I don't think I'm going out anymore this week, so I think I'm probably good. But before we jump into kind of what we've been playing, Nick, how was your week been?
Been a pretty good week. Had one pretty late night work wise on Wednesday. I was up till about 1-ish a.m. We were getting some financial statements out. So I had a late night and then came to our home, our parents' house. And hung out there for the weekend and spent some time with them and had an Easter lunch on Sunday. Cooked for them on Saturday night. Went out to dinner on Friday. I mean, whole shebang, man.
Whole shebang. Got to play a little disc golf. That was fun.
Yeah, played some disky. Shot pretty well. Almost
nice.
Almost beat Adam.
Almost. You're what, 5 under?
Yeah, I mean 6 under if you play by the UDisc rules, the official disc golf app. But I guess I'm 5 under through Adam's rules.
Right. But yeah, it was good. I am not quite up and running my PC yet. I've got it's been a very challenging experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I'm going through it because I feel like it's grown my character over the last couple of weeks.
Tested your patience?
Just more of like I'll explain here in a second, but yeah, definitely testing my patience. It's not necessarily my fault, I guess, because I'm like kind of a newbie when it comes to building PCs. I mean, obviously this is my first one built. And like the motherboard that I got was actually the mini version, so it's not like a true like large kind of motherboard. So I'm like kind of limited on the stuff that I can do. So I've had to. So it all started when I first built it. This is before I got the graphics card. I was impatient. I went ahead and I just wanted to get kind of the process started. So I put everything on the motherboard. I put on the SSD card. I put in the RAM. I put in the GPU, my AMD processor or whatever. Got the cooling fan for that on there, and then I plugged it in and it worked. Both fan cams on. But what I was stupid is I unplugged the fans for some reason while the computer was on, and I shorted it. I shorted the 2 4-pin connectors that are on the motherboard. So that was cool. So I ended up contacting Amazon. They're super cool. They said, instead of, giving you a new case or replacing the case, they were just going to like cut the price in half so I could buy some fans. I was like, okay, that's cool. So get one new fan in, and I plug it in, and it ends up smoking on me. I plug it in while I was off, plugged it in, turned it on, and ended up like smoking. So I'm assuming those pins that I have now on there are just bad. So I'm not going to touch those anymore. So what I did was I got, and then I come to find out the fans that I have to use something called a Corsair Commander Pro, which is kind of like a lighting hub that you can use in order to activate like the RGB. So that was like an additional $50. Luckily, I was able to price check it on Best Buy. So on Friday, I ordered it. I ordered it online at Best Buy, and I talked to the guy. Nick, I've told you the story, but just for the audience, whatever. I purchased on Amazon. Told the guy, I wanted to price match it with Amazon, or excuse me, I purchased on Best Buy. Told the guy I wanted to price match it with Amazon because they make you call in to do that. And I told him at the very end, I was like, hey, before like I process this, like I want to go pick this up at the store. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I'll get it updated for you. Went to the store, gave him my confirmation number. Order's not ready, or the order's not in the system. So I was like, okay. They're like, go to customer service, and they should be able to swap it out. So I grabbed the product that I wanted, the exact same item, took it up to customer service, and was like, hey, I need, I just want to swap this out. I purchased it like online over the phone, and I told the guy I wanted to pick it up, but evidently he didn't do that correctly. So, which is fine. But the guy said the order had already shipped or was already in processing, so he couldn't refund my money. So I was like, well, it's coming tomorrow. It's coming the next day. So I can wait a day. It's fine. So I put the product back, or I gave it back to him, and then I left. The Commander Pro came in on Saturday. Okay. I went to I plugged it in and it turned on. I went to plug in that same fan that smoked into the Commander Pro. Didn't work. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine. Like it probably just fried. I'm gonna return it. And I was like, I had already put in the return order, whatever. They were already sending me a new fan by this time.
Yeah.
So I plugged in the crappy one in, or the burnt one, into the Commander Pro, and it didn't work. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Get my fan today, plug it in, it doesn't work. And then I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is pissing me off. So I put it in, because I put the other fan in to the first 2 slots, because you can hold up to 6 fans. So I plugged it in to the 3rd or 4th slot. It worked fine. So evidently, when I put in that burnt out fan, it fried the connector on the Commander Pro in the first 2 slots. So today I went to Best Buy, returned the Commander Pro, said, hey, these 2 pins they didn't work. Got a new one. It's still in the box. I haven't messed with it yet. I've got the new fan that works, ready to go. So I'll probably mess with it maybe after the stream or tomorrow or something. And then I've got the other fan coming, I think, Friday. So after that, I'll be done. I'll have everything I need. I'll be good to go. It's just been a freaking nightmare.
But you're streaming this from your computer, right?
Yeah, like it's fine. Like I don't really know if I even need these fans, because I mean, like my GPU isn't running super hot or anything. It's running like pretty cool. But I just want to have them just in case, when I eventually do upgrade, whenever, right? I just want to have them ready to go. And plus, like, it's RGB, it looks cool. So, and I just want to see how it looks. So I should be good and I should be done. It's just a lot to going in blind. It's tough. So,
well, kudos to you for persevering through it. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, it's been
on the 3rd try.
It's been really, really frustrating, and like coming from like a Mac and having to work around the Mac on downloading Windows onto the USB drive to format it onto format the USB stick and then put that into the computer. If I couldn't have done that, I don't know what I would have done. I just, because like I don't have a disk, like a disk tray in this thing, and most PCs nowadays don't. So I would have really no way of installing Windows on the computer and actually being able to use it properly. But
could you just download it from? I guess
I can't. Yeah, I can't. It won't boot up properly without the Windows being installed. So it's been a process, but like I've played some games on it. I'll talk about here in a little bit. I played some Valheim. I've got all my programs and stuff downloaded. Still learning as the top of the show. I was trying to fix the audio, So I'm still learning about everything, but it feels good to have it up and running, and I can't wait to get those fans in there so it can look all cool.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to like download Minecraft and Fortnite or something. Try them
Yeah,
out.
and I don't know, like, I mean, the graphics card that I got isn't nothing super crazy, but so far, I mean, it's snappy. The PC like runs super quick. I mean,
Mm,
it's been nice. So it's been cool. Like all the programs I download, there's no workarounds for anything, like specifically coming from a Mac.
yeah,
So it's been really nice to have it pretty much finished.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah.
What FPS are you getting in games?
Uh I don't know exactly. I haven't really played much. I mean, I played some Valheim, I played some Oblivion. I've played a little bit of Rogue Company. I wanted to try that out, but everything runs flawlessly from what I can see. Valheim's a little
Nice.
bit, and Valheim's also early access, so it's like kind of hard to judge
Yeah.
that based on like my specs and my computer and stuff. But everything so far runs pretty good, so I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
That's
just one
awesome.
of those workarounds too, where it's like the motherboard I have doesn't have Bluetooth in it or Wi-Fi capabilities, so I have to be hardwired, which isn't a problem. I mean, I'm right beside my modem, so I was gonna have it hardwired anyways.
Mm.
But like, with like an Xbox controller, if I want to use that, I have to plug it in via USB. So again, not a
Oh,
huge deal, but just kind of things you don't think about when you're building something. That everything you kind of built, like a pre-build or a Mac or something like that, laptop, it's already
already has it.
ready to go. So you just don't think about that kind of stuff. And I didn't. And I know how to. Oops. And I know how to install Wi-Fi and stuff like that later down the line if I want to.
Mhm.
So it's just a little adapter piece, but
I mean, I guess you don't really need it right now.
no.
Plug in your controller and be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm perfectly happy with what I've got right now. So
Unless you're wanting to like connect your headphones and just listen to music or something on there, then
yeah. I mean, I have to stick with the wired stuff right now.
yeah.
But we'll come to that point. We'll come to that bridge when I'm ready to cross that. So
One thing at a time.
yeah, one thing at a time. I'm just ready to get these fans and get them installed and it's freaking write this chapter off of my life and just get on with the PC stuff. But um, I've been talking forever. So Nick, you want to jump into the games we've been playing?
Yes, I am so excited to talk about two of the games I've been playing this week. 2 out of 2, 100%. Um, It Takes Two is one of the games, and then Monster Hunter Rise. But I'll start with It Takes Two. So
Yes.
Alicia and I finished it up on Saturday night. We had a 4.5 hour gaming session and wrapped up It Takes Two. We thought we only had like an hour and a half or 2 hours left, but we took a while, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of game left. Like it's a pretty long game compared to like a Way Out. I mean, I
Yeah.
know you played Brothers, and that one's pretty short, but
Yeah.
this one was
Brother's
like,
very short.
I feel like this one was like 12 to 15 hours. So it was, I mean, it was pretty long. It would probably be a little bit quicker if it was like you and I playing together, since we're both fairly
Yeah.
well adjusted to different game mechanics. And Alicia was having to learn a new mechanic about every hour.
Yeah.
Just by the design of the game, you would go into these different worlds or different scenarios, and you would get like a completely new mechanic. And like platforming would still kind of be the same, where you're just pressing A to jump and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there would be like one
Yeah.
mechanic that was new.
Yeah. And my wife is kind of in the same boat where she'll play like co-op stuff with me and enjoys it. But yeah, she was getting a little bit frustrated at some of the parts. And um, as an avid gamer like you and I mean, I was very surprised about how many different mechanics
Mm-hmm.
there are to learn and are in the game. And like you said, I mean, every kind of new level, there's one or two things that are kind of brand new that you have to kind of readjust yourself to kind of learn and manage. And for someone who doesn't necessarily play games all the time, it can be a little tricky. But like, I mean, the game is so, I mean, it's so forgiving. Like it's like
Yeah,
death is
yeah.
almost doesn't even matter really.
Inconsequential.
Yeah, I mean, the only time it really matters is when like you're in a boss fight. But even in boss fights, there's checkpoints and stuff, so like it's pretty low stakes.
And like you only go back to a checkpoint if both of you dies.
Yeah,
And normally I can stay alive while she's coming back, and
yeah,
there's no issue at all. So yeah, I mean it's pretty. I think it's pretty challenging for a newcomer because, like we said, like there are just so many new mechanics, and then a lot of the game has like aiming where you have to kind of walk and use your right stick to
right.
aim at the same time. And that's I think that's the hardest part of learning how to like play games in general is using that dual stick controls. Like, I mean, I'm sure listeners right now and us and gamers everywhere are so familiar and so accustomed to like dual analog stick controls that like they forgot what it was like to actually learn them.
Yeah,
But it's like it's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. It's kind of just counterintuitive, and that
yeah.
was one of the problems Alicia was having is whenever she would want to move the camera in one direction, she would move it in the other. And then
Mm,
I
okay.
inverted controls for her, and she would still do the same thing. So like I made it so like if she turned the stick left, it would go right, but she would end up turning it right to go left. So
To
she
go
would always do
left.
the opposite. And I was like,
Yeah,
we switched it around a couple times, and I think we ended up sticking with just like normal controls, and she ended up getting used to that. But
yeah.
that was a
Yeah, it
big,
takes time.
but yeah, just it takes time, and that was her first game playing through ever. Like that was first game that she'd beaten. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, so it was a good one to
Wow.
start on. Like that's
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game, and it looks great. Like,
yeah,
I mean, for people that don't know, it's kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like kind of mixed with like a Disney Pixar kind of movie.
mm-hmm.
But they also kind of cuss in it as well, so it's kind of like a very cool mixture. And like the story is like so far, it's kind of sad. I mean, it's messed up. I mean, like just the premise is like the couple are getting a divorce, and they're already on terms with the divorce, but they argue a lot, and they're the kid their child is kind of not taking the blame, but I mean she's obviously being affected by it as
taking a lot of it on
any
herself, kind of.
you know I don't know, she's probably what, 5 or 6 maybe, 4 or 5, something
I
like
would say
that.
she's a little bit older.
Little, you think a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
um but so yeah, I mean, as any child would, where parents are constantly arguing and getting divorced, they don't really understand. So it's definitely got like a nice story to it. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I really like it. And to go back to like the kind of the for someone who's new to gaming, um when I was playing on the PC, I haven't played at all with my controller. And so I've just been using mouse and keyboard, and man,
it's
it's
a challenge,
something.
hasn't it?
Even playing like Oblivion, where Oblivion's pretty low stakes. I mean, it's pretty easy. That was getting hard to used to.
Yeah.
Getting it's same with like Valheim and even like Rogue Company.
Mm-hmm.
It just took a little while to get used to, and I don't think it's for me. I'm glad that I have the option to use a controller on the PC, which is great. But yes, I feel that kind of that pain, that learning curve
Yeah, and
that
it's
they
hard.
feel.
And I think luckily It Takes Two is like the perfect introduction for gaming in
Yeah,
general because it touches on so many different genres. Like you have beat 'em ups, platforming, it's like a big part of it. Um, dungeon crawling, it has racing, flying, shooting. I mean, it pretty much touches on every genre.
yeah, puzzle solving,
Puzzle
like
solving.
pretty light, and everything's like really light too. It's not
Mhm.
like everything is very, I don't want to say simple, but it's kind of simplistic, I would say. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
pretty.
too like, it doesn't go in like super in depth with its mechanics.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not doing like crazy stuff in it, but this all the stuff that you are doing is a lot of fun, I think.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, and one of the things I really like about it, and this is something that the producer of the game, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's kind of harped on it a little bit, is there aren't any collectibles. So
Yeah,
there's nothing to search for from a collectible perspective. But there's a lot of stuff that you can interact with in the environment. There's mini games. So like I've been getting like these like the diamond achievements for
Yeah.
like interacting with like random stuff. I was like, oh, what does this do? And then I do it, and I end up getting an achievement for it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like it actually rewarded me just going and trying something kind of uninhibited, not because I wanted to search for a collectible, but just because I was curious about,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
what.
it feeds into that kind of curiosity. And what
Yeah,
I really like from I can't remember, is it Fulbright Studios
it's
or I don't
no,
know,
it's not
I can't,
Fulbright.
it's not Fulbright.
Hazelight.
Hazelight. I really like the fact that well, I mean, Brothers didn't really have co-op except for the Switch version. And that was actually my favorite version of the game. But they really push kind of co-op more so than, I don't want to say co-op games are necessarily dying, because I mean there's stuff like Destiny and Outriders and these kind of live service games that obviously wants you to play with your friends, but like that couch co-op I feel like is kind of dying a little bit. And I love the fact that this studio just keeps kind of pushing, not necessarily that genre, but that kind of idea of couch co-op.
Mm. And even if
And
you're miles away, you still have that split screen, so you can still see the other person's perspective, even if you're 50 miles away.
yeah, I really like that kind of that splits perspective, and then it'll come as one whole perspective at some point whenever you're doing stuff. But yeah, really, really, really cool game. I can't wait to finish it this
Yeah,
week.
I hope it gets a lot of love from from the community, because like it's hard to sell a co-op only game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I feel like
the fact that you can, when you buy it, it gives you like that friends pass, so like
yeah.
someone can download it and play without actually having to pay for it. So that's pretty cool that they do that. I don't know how that affects like sales. I imagine that probably hurts it a little bit, because you're, you know, half your audience
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
paying for it.
they
But
did that with A Way Out
yeah.
as well.
So I imagine, I mean, I guess if they did it twice, then it probably, I don't know, maybe a lot of people just go half on it or something. Who knows?
That's what we did.
Yep. Good old what is it, game sharing, whatever.
Good old game sharing.
Yeah.
This is I'm gonna definitely consider this game for my game of the year list at the end of
Oh,
the
for
year.
sure. Yeah. It's
It's just
definitely,
such a cool experience.
yeah. And with the rest of this year, well, there's so much stuff that we don't know what is coming out, and the stuff that we do know could get pushed because of COVID and stuff like that. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think this will probably land on my top 10 after everything's been said and done.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, what a great game so far.
Yeah, I really really loved the last couple of areas. The snow area, especially
I haven't gotten there yet.
that's a good one. And then yeah, I mean it's all yeah. I really really enjoyed this game, and I didn't think there were any kind of dull moments because it just keeps on switching it up
Yeah.
every now
Yeah, that's
every now.
like the first time you get like I'm not gonna spoil it, but like the first weapons you get in the game, I was kind of like shocked. I was like, oh man, okay, I did not expect this. I just thought it was gonna be kind of like a straight platformer almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very, very happy with everything, that's all the mechanics and different weapons and stuff you get in the game so far. So it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff. What else you been playing? I know a little game called Monster Hunter.
Oh, I would
Sold
call it a big game
5
called
million
Monster Hunter.
copies so far.
Yeah. Well, it's
Crazy.
shipped 5 million.
Shipped. They said, well, they
That
said,
doesn't include digital though.
is it not? They said it sold more copies than World did in its first 3 or 4 days, and World was on all systems except for Switch, but World was on everything, and then Switch, and this one's just the Switch right now and the PC next year. So
I mean, yeah,
it's done pretty well, I would say.
it's done amazing, and it's all warranted too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm loving it, and I think about it all the time. It's one of those games where you think about it when you're not playing it. Like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I should try the switch axe, or maybe I should, go do this, and whatever. Um, I beat Magnamalo, the flagship monster of the game. It's not like, so you roll credits once you're done, but after you finish Magnamalo, there's still 5-star quests, and then there's 6-star quests.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm at the 6-star quests now. So I'm pretty deep into the village mode. And I've loved, I'm sure I've said this last week, but I've loved every monster I've fought so far. I think all of them are just so different, such different mechanics, and they're just a blast to fight. And I've really, really loved switching up weapons. I'm back to the dual blades now. I was on the hammer for a little bit,
Nice.
but the dual blades are just so fast and so quick that I've been taking down monsters in like under 10 minutes now.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, I used to be sitting at like the 15-minute range for a hunt. Now I'm, getting a little bit lower. I'm still a noob, like still such a monster hunter noob. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface with all of this stuff. I'm really just, eating meals before I go on hunts, and then I'm just like crafting weapons and armor, and crafting armor from my Palico and Palamute. But I haven't really touched like all of the other mechanics in the game yet.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that's kind of like those games though. It's like the game doesn't really start until you're like finished with like the main campaign. So that's always cool when that happens.
Yeah, and I want to go try some multiplayer, because it just kind of gets exponentially harder once you jump into the multiplayer section of it.
Is that because when there's more people, the levels increase? Okay.
And I think so. The hunts in the demo, or at least the moderate hunts, from the demo, I think those are like the multiplayer version of the monsters, so they're a little bit tougher to kill.
Okay.
So if anyone has played the demo and you thought it was like too challenging or too difficult, just keep that in mind. Like in that demo, you're given some pretty basic armor, and you can't really eat food before the hunt or anything like that, so you don't have any boost or buffs. So if you're put off by the demo, I would still give it a chance, because you get a lot more autonomy once you're actually in the game.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard. I mean, I listened to quite a few podcasts, and like everybody's just been raving about it. And the people that are into Monster Hunter love it, and then the people that weren't into World, which is kind of like, I mean, World was kind of like the closest. I mean, it did. I mean, it sold like crazy, but I mean, that was kind of the big game that got a lot of people that didn't like Monster Hunter into it, because it kind of mainstreamed it. It kind of tightened up some mechanics that are kind of not so great. But Rise just sounds like it's even done that even better. I mean, it sounds like as far as connecting, as far as like multiplayer goes, it sounds like that's a lot better. Because like I remember the multiplayer in World was like pretty like convoluted. Like it was just
it's kind of weird.
It was hard to get into for no reason. It seemed like so. I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see.
I feel like this game just respects your time more than World does. Like, even in the loading times on Rise are just like astronomically better than they were on World. And I don't know why. Like it's running on lesser hardware, but it's taking advantage of it better than probably better than World did on.
Yeah, I mean it almost seems like
that RE
they that and just they kind of like did what Nintendo does. Like their games always run the best on their hardware, and look so good on their hardware versus other companies that just I don't know if they just don't know it as well, but it seems like I'm not sure who the studio is for Rise, but Capcom has done really well with the RE engine and optimizing it specifically for the Switch. So I mean, maybe Nintendo. Obviously, I'm sure Nintendo helped them, since it's a year exclusive for the Switch. So
Yeah, I think it was the same Capcom studio that did World.
okay.
I think so. Yeah, it just respects your time. Like even like getting around with the Palamute, being able to like just immediately hop on that and get to the monster in like 30 seconds is so much better than like four on the Monster Hunter 4 on the 3DS, where you're going from screen to screen, your stamina is just constantly depleted, and you're just running and God, just going so slow. So yeah, 100%, like 100% recommend it to anybody, because it can scratch whatever itch you wanted to scratch. If you're into hunting monsters, then this is the game for you.
Cool. Well, I
That's
heard
all.
it's. I definitely want to try it at some point. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We shall
Yeah,
see. I got too many games player now.
I did a poll on Twitter, and 0% of the people that responded had gotten the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently our Twitter follower base, not Monster Hunter fans.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is the game to try because it
I
sounds
think
like it's the most accessible out
yeah.
of any other Monster Hunter. So cool.
All
Anything
right.
else you've been playing, Nick?
Nah, just been grinding on those two games. But I want to hear about Outriders.
Yeah, so I've put a couple of hours into it because I played a lot of the demo, and yeah, I mean the enemy types start to kind of open up. You're kind of fighting more of like the I wouldn't say monsters, but kind of like the animals, the wildlife of the planet. I can't remember the Enoch of the planet. Story's still pretty cool. I mean, I thought the story in the demo was pretty cool. How everything's um kind of set up, but yeah, I mean, if you love the demo like I did, it's I mean it's that. You know, I haven't I've played about 4 or 5 missions, maybe 6, including story missions too. Um, yeah, I just really find just I feel like the shooting's really good. The weapon variety that you get is really good.
Classes are
Um,
really cool.
yeah, the powers you get are really really cool, and like the fact that the cooldown time for these things are like so quick,
Like nothing.
like it really really like respects your time. Like it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't like,
You're never waiting around
yeah,
for
you're never waiting, like, because
cooldown.
I mean the kind of big, like the main draw of the game is it wants you to be aggressive because killing and doing damage to enemies heals your it heals you. So, it wants you to be aggressive. So obviously that's gonna, have those cooldown times reduced because that's how, you use your abilities to um to heal. So yeah, it's really nice versus playing other games like Avengers where it takes forever to get your move back, almost to the point where when you get it back, you don't ever want to use it because you're afraid that the
You're
next
using it the
encounter
wrong
is going to
time.
be even bigger. So
Yeah.
I just love the fact that um the cooldowns are so reduced in this game specifically. The load times I think are pretty great. It did have apparently it had some launch issues, and a lot of people were kind of complaining because people play single player, but it's still you
Still
still have
takes
to
forever.
access the server to
Yeah.
play. So like I get people's gripes. I didn't really have any problems every time I booted it on.
Did you play on
Um,
launch day?
did I play on launch day? It came out
Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah, I played a little bit. Um, didn't really have any issues. I played by myself. Um, it took about 30 seconds to log into the server and get going. Maybe a minute, but other than that, I mean, no connection issues or anything.
That's good.
It does suck because you can't pause the game, which
Like
is
you
weird because like it's an online game or whatever, so you can't. So like, I had paused at one point and went upstairs to eat dinner and came back and I died or whatever. I had to restart the checkpoints. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. So that's always weird and stuff like that with like these online games.
can you pause Destiny?
Because I mean, this game technically isn't a live service game, but I guess because it's like drop in, drop out co-op, that it's just always got to be online.
That
Um,
kind of sucks.
or I mean, I'm assuming you can play offline if you need to, but if you're online connected to the internet, it's all, you know, you can't pause. But other than that, I mean, I really find it great. The frame rate's pretty good. Like I said, the loading times are good. Yeah, I mean, if you, like I said, if you like that demo, I think you'll. I mean, it's on Game Pass too, so why not, right?
I'll probably jump into it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Get my feet wet. I mean, I love that demo. Playing
yeah,
with you is so much fun.
yeah. It was fun. Yeah, we'll need to.
And it's cool that you can just like kind of jump in, you know, irregardless of wherever someone's at in the story, and kind of play with them.
Yeah, and it tells you, like, you know, if you jump ahead in the story, it'll say, hey, spoiler alert, you're going ahead in the story. So at least it tells you. But I mean, if you don't care about that stuff and just want to play, I mean, you know, you just play with your friends. It's not a big deal. So definitely cool. Yeah. I mean, I played obviously It Takes Two, but we've already talked about that. What else did I play?
Some Valheim.
Oh yeah, Valheim. Yeah, I played some Valheim. I ran around for about an hour and had no idea what to do.
One of those games, huh?
One of those games where it's got like, so you start in this it's I mean, there's lore behind the game because it's kind of set, you know, it's set in like a Viking world. So coming from Assassin's Creed to this was not much of a big jump. But yeah, like a raven kind of drops you in to the world, yeah, raven. And then like it kind of guides you, kind of tells you what to do, tells you that there's like a big boss in like the biome that you start in. And it'll also tell you if you get too far, it'll tell you that, you know, you're under leveled or whatever. But it's one of those games where if you die, you lose all your stuff. So you have to go back and retrieve your items. But if you put your items in like a chest, it'll save it there. So you can kind of,
So it's like Minecraft.
yeah. So if you are getting ready to go on an adventure, maybe not bring all of your stuff. I didn't know that until, I mean, I was able to go back and get my body. But after I played for like the first hour or so, I did look up a video, and it kind of tells you what to do, like as far as crafting, like craft your first, not you don't have to craft your own home. You can find one, put a bed in there, get a fire started, and then you can like kind of set the bed as your spawn point once a fire is around, because at night it gets cold and you have to kind of take shelter, because I think you start taking damage at some point. So it's definitely one of those games. It's definitely like very heavy on Minecraft, as far as the building goes as well.
Can you level up?
Yeah, it's funny because like you level up for doing anything, like jumping, you level up. You like increase your attributes. Anytime you block, anytime you do damage or like swing your whatever axe, club, whatever, you're just always kind of gaining attributes. Kind of similar to like Oblivion or Skyrim, I guess. Where you're just always, you know, one hand weapon, you know, increases, stuff like that. So it just kind of automatically does it for you. You don't have to necessarily focus on something. It just kind of seamless, I guess, and like just in combat and anything that you're really doing. So it's definitely cool. I mean, it's $20. It's in early access. I know I'm kind of late to the party because this game has been super popular, and I think it's probably by now probably sold 6 million copies. But yeah, really cool so far. I'm looking forward to playing some more of it.
Is there an in game? Can you beat it?
Yeah, so like there's so right now I think there's 4 or 5 biomes, and each biome has like their own boss, and you have to kind of like work your way up to it. So
do you think you're anywhere close to the first?
oh no. Like I just started kind of building stuff, so I'm
okay. I didn't know how long it was.
And I think you can kind of, if you know where the boss is, I think you could just go to it if you want to. But it's just all about like, yeah, like Zelda, like you just got to get prepared, and get, you know, your whatever food and potions and weaponry and armor and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
I love like gaining skill points by actually doing that skill.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of my favorite additions to a game.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
remember which games have. I think what's that? I think Outer Worlds has that.
Yeah, because like Fallout has that, right? No, does
Fallout,
Fallout have that? Does it? No, I don't think it does. Definitely like any sort of the Elder Scrolls games have that. But with those, you have to sleep and then you gain, right? I
I
can't
think you just gain.
remember. I think you just gain it and then I think you level up by sleeping. I think.
That might be
I could be
Oblivion.
wrong. Yeah, that might be Oblivion.
I think Skyrim is a little more seamless than that.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely cool when games kind of do that.
Did Cyberpunk do that? I can't remember.
Oh,
I remember that skill tree was like uber dumb.
yeah, that
The worst skill tree I've ever seen.
yeah, it looked like a mess. I don't know.
I
I don't know.
hate things about
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Just sorry.
Yeah, it's poo poo. Um,
Anything else you've been playing?
no, not really. I played a little bit of Oblivion. That was the first game I downloaded when I got my PC set up. That was cool going back to that. No, well,
the game
that
you
was
downloaded to test.
yeah, right. That was like Oblivion was the first game to pop up on the Xbox store after I got signed in. So I was like, whatever. So I tried it.
Did you just download it through Game Pass? Is that what you
Yeah,
did?
yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. I've got Game Pass on the PC now, so
Mm.
that's cool. Um,
Oh,
oh, um, what else? I played a little Rogue Company. One of my buddies, Diego. I think we're probably going to stream it at some point, but that's kind of like his go-to game, and it's like a very like it's kind of like Fortnite shooting, like because it feels like a very light version of Gears of War. It doesn't feel as like kind of heavy. But like I mentioned Fortnite, well, because it's epic, but without like the building, so it's like very basic.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like I had a lot of fun, even on like mouse and keyboard. Like I was doing, somewhat well. So I'm excited to try it with the controller to see how much more fun it is for me personally. But that game is pretty cool. I know that game has been around for a while now. And I think it's on the Switch too. But yeah, that game's cool. And I think that's
cool.
yeah. And I think that's everything.
Nice.
That's everything.
Big week for games.
Yeah, lots of stuff, man.
Lots of good stuff. Like this has been such a great 2 weeks, at least for me, for gaming.
Yeah, it's been pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Well, you wanna go into the news? We don't have
Yeah,
much this week.
Yeah, let's do it. A lot of Cyberpunk news and CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077 got a big patch. This was supposed to come out in January or February. And then, Cyberpunk got hacked.
Yeah.
So it pushed it back a little bit. So here it is.
I know they fixed like a lot of side quest stuff, like a lot of side quest bugs and just kind of weird bugs in general, right?
Yeah, bunch of bugs they fixed. I think the list is pretty long for the actual
Yeah, we're not gonna read all of it because it's like it's so much. I mean, that game is a wreck. I mean, it's still a wreck, but it sounds like it's better. Nick, I feel like I know the answer. Do you ever plan on going back and playing this game, even when they, I guess, inevitably release the next gen version?
I don't think so. I don't think improved performance is gonna make me like the game more.
Yeah, like I want to play it because I've spent money on it, but like that world didn't capture me.
Is it better though to pay for a game, don't like it, and then not waste your time on it? Or is it better to buy it and then spend enough time to finish it. I don't know.
Maybe if we had paid full price, but since we kind of split the price of it, maybe I don't feel as bad to not play it right now or at all. I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Like I'm because it sounds like, I mean, they said that the next gen got pushed, right? That version got pushed.
Yeah, it got pushed to the end of this year. Or
Yeah,
just later this year.
and to me, that's too little, too late. To be honest, I mean,
that's a year later.
I mean, at the end of the year, I mean, we could possibly be getting a new Switch with a brand new, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Hopefully Halo comes out. I mean,
like I'm not gonna waste my time on a game that came out broken in 2020. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess good for them right now, just because we don't know what's coming out this year. But I mean, we got E3 E3 stuff kind of right around the corner. To look forward to. So hopefully we'll get some announcements that come out this year. Possibly Starfield. Like, you have a big time RPG from Bethesda coming out this year, possibly. I don't know. I think it's going to get buried. I mean, it's already kind of gotten buried as is. I mean, I see a lot of ads for Cyberpunk still, but
still not back on the PlayStation Store.
I think it's back. Well, I think it's up to Sony now. Pretty well. I mean, I guess it's always up to Sony, but
it's in their.
I think CD Projekt Red said that it's much better on the just in general, but for the PS4. So I think they're leaving it up to Sony at this point. But
apparently, it's still running in the 20s frame rate wise on the PS4 Pro.
Okay.
And then in the teens on the base.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think they should have just scrapped the PS4 Xbox version and then just released it. If they would have released it this year in holiday for the next gen consoles, or current, I should say now, I think it would have been. That narrative would have been so much different.
I mean, just look at what Bethesda and id Software did for Doom Eternal. Like they postponed the Switch release for like a year.
Yeah.
And people were upset at first, but the game's out on the Switch now and it runs great. Like,
yeah, people say, yeah, I just think that people, I don't know. I think obviously, shareholders are involved in kind of like the push of getting a game out like within a fiscal year. But I mean, gosh, looking back, I mean, I don't think there's any shareholder that would have disagreed with, and a lot of those people don't know kind of, I would imagine probably don't know what it takes to make a game and how much better it is for you to get a game out regardless of how well it's going to sell. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the narrative for CD Projekt Red is that they are kind of trash. I mean, they delayed the game a couple times, overhyped it for sure. Had
overworked their employees as well.
Yeah, huge crunch time, and then they ship a game and it's just absolutely broken. And not even just frame rate stuff, like just really bad bugs, like
archaic in terms of like fundamental AI design.
Yeah, bad AI design. The fact where you can't even, if you get in the way of a vehicle in traffic, they don't know to go around. They crash into you, and then it's a huge pile up. Stuff like that. Like stuff like shooting water doesn't make. And again, I'm kind of getting into, I'm nitpicking at this point, but I mean, you shoot water, and it doesn't. There's no effect. You shoot tires, and they don't release air. Just little stuff like that. In a game that took 8 years to make,
and it was supposed to be so immersive.
Yeah,
it's just all these little things that just kind of break that immersion. Piece by piece. God, every time we get on this game, it's like a roast fest. But
it deserves it. I mean, and I hope in 2 years or next year or whatever, it has a big turnaround. Much like, but I just these companies have got to stop doing this. Like, you have stuff like No Man's Sky, which I think it ran fine, but there's just nothing to do. Obviously, I think people wanted that for Anthem, and I think BioWare and EA wanted it, but they ended up scrapping that anyways, and we're moving on, which I think is a smart thing to do. I mean, why waste money on an Anthem? So I mean, there are these like feel good stories for these developers to kind of turn stuff around. Like I think Fallout 76 has done much better since his release, but
it didn't have to be a feel good story. It could have just been a good story.
Yeah,
the game coming out and being a good game.
Yeah, I just think, and I think most people in the game industry would agree, just they should have just pushed it. They should have just pushed it a year, but done like Halo. I mean, we were super disappointed with the delay of Halo, and and I for one I didn't think it looked that terrible, but the internet would disagree, and I mean they agreed as well. I mean they knew they needed more time, and instead of crunching their employees like CD Projekt Red did, they gave them a whole year. So
and CD Projekt also crunched their employees with a false pretense that they would release a game at a certain time, and then they would delay it again and again, and then
I mean, wasn't there one like push that they didn't even know until it was on Twitter or something?
The PR team sent out a tweet. The employees had no idea.
That's really shitty. That's super shitty. And then the fact that the game releases and they're having to work more crunch because they have to get these patches out. So I feel for them.
They used to be such a beloved company with The Witcher 3, and
that's
now it's all out the window.
That's going to be a really good story for anybody that leaves CD Projekt Red and gets hired somewhere else. And in that interview process, they said I shipped Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sure that'll be a very good story to tell.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like I almost, I don't know, maybe at some point there'll be some sort of like documentary on this. I think
it deserves it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So crazy. They didn't quite announce the cancellation of multiplayer, but they have considerably thought about canceling it or kind of moving on.
They're kind of alluding to
which makes sense. I don't
just
get
the updates out and then leave this game.
Yeah, I think they had high hopes for like something like GTA Online or something with this, or Red Dead Online. But I don't know. I want at this point, I wonder how much this game has sold. I mean, I'm sure they've done pretty well.
Probably,
and I'm sure
10 million.
So, and
then had
how much?
10 million copies probably, and then maybe 1 million or 2 in refunds.
Yeah, and I wonder if like just kind of the publicity it's gotten, like, and how bad it is. I wonder if that maybe created sales at some point for just the people for kind of like the opposite, bad press or whatever.
So any press is good press.
Yeah, any press is good press. So who knows? I mean, maybe, I don't know. I might play this at one point, but we'll see. Is there anything else that I know they had mentioned splitting time development or something now?
Yeah, they're going to split development between Witcher and Cyberpunk. And then they're going to have more of a focus on including any multiplayer content in the launch of games rather than prolonging it and having it staggered. So I don't know what game that'll be for. I don't think Witcher 4 needs a multiplayer mode, but
God, I hope not.
They might think otherwise. Got to make up those losses from all that Cyberpunk marketing that they did for 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old Cyberpunk. What is there any other news? I can't for the listeners, I cannot see our news document as I don't have my email set up yet, but
has those emails set up.
Oh my God.
There's just a story that Monster Hunter Rise has shipped 5 million copies.
Okay.
I think the end of last weekend, which is pretty on par. I think a little bit of ahead of what Monster Hunter World shipped in its first like opening 3-day weekend.
Yeah, and that was on PC. Or no, PC didn't come. I think it was just Xbox and PlayStation. But I think PC came down the line, right? I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it
for
came
World
down the line.
Okay.
At some point.
So yeah, three. Two consoles, two really large really large kind of like consumer base for World, and it's sold less than what the Switch should. So I'd say that's pretty good. I definitely think word of mouth has helped with this game for sure.
And it's a testament to how much of a breakout hit World was.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially Japan. Like they're just eating up Monster Hunter. Japan's always been a big base for Monster Hunter. That's kind of where the popularity was before World came out. But
yeah,
it's selling like crazy in Japan. I think it sold like 1.5 million copies in a few days.
Just crazy.
Just in Japan alone. It's doing well, man, and it deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, it's got me curious. Got me curious. Well, curious.
Well, that's all I had on here for the news. Pretty slow week. There's always some rumors of some more Xbox events. I think there might be like a staggered events throughout the year, like the future of games presentations for Xbox. I don't know if you heard about that today, but
I didn't hear about that. I mean,
kind of leaked out a little bit that they're going to have separate presentations.
I'm trying not to like go into any sort of like hype for stuff just because it's
stuff in general.
Yeah, well, yeah, just because like every kind of presentation we've gotten, it's like sucked.
It's been terrible.
Yeah, so I mean, the indie showcase I thought was pretty good for Microsoft or Xbox. Really long, but it was good. A lot of good games to get excited for, but I don't know. I just feel like they haven't nailed quite like Nintendo does as far as their presentation. I mean, they have like their little banter, but I don't know. It's just too much banter.
I like just rapid fire. Just get the next one. And this is one thing I didn't like about Nintendo's last presentation is and we kind of we're talking about this during the presentation, but they'll have like the dialogue when they have the trailer going.
Yeah.
And then whoever's presenting will kind of recap what just happened, which is totally unnecessary.
Like yeah, like everybody's listening. I mean,
it's like we're paying attention. You don't need to explain it all again.
Yeah, you don't need to summarize what you just talked about in your minute clip. Yeah, and then just some games get too much attention for no reason.
I think they pay. I think they pay for an ad.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to E3 time. So I mean, that obviously we know at some point big stuff is going to come out, or hopefully. So we'll probably. I mean, I don't know if anything is going to be going on this month. I mean, Mario's done with, so Mario's dead, donezo. So I mean,
let's get on to Zelda.
I'm ready for it, man. Obviously, but I don't know if we hear anything until. I mean, I don't know, like July. I mean, are they gonna wait until after Skyward Sword before they start talking more Zelda?
I think they're gonna wait until after Skyward Sword.
I don't want them to.
Well, man, I don't either. But that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're gonna release Zelda 35, and it's gonna be, it's only gonna go until March 31st, 2022. And I mean, that's just it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Anything's open at this point. Yeah. Anything's possible.
Maybe we could wake up tomorrow and we're gonna get a Zelda 35th.
That'd be legendary. I'd call out of work. Be like, I gotta record some videos.
I gotta go right now.
I gotta go right now. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the show this week. Appreciate everyone that watched live and has been downloading the show and listening to it. If you wouldn't mind giving us a good review or just a bad review, I don't care, on Apple Podcasts or any of your favorite podcasting platforms that allows reviews, that would help us out tremendously. And Nick, where can they follow us on the old Twitter?
They can follow us at Gaming WT Bros on Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us with any questions or DM us with any questions that you would like us to talk about live on this podcast. And we also do some polls and questions, so
yeah,
feel free to partake in all those.
Yeah, it's a good time. Well, that is going to wrap up the show. We will see you guys. I don't know, Sunday, Monday, next. Kind of free flowing around here.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.